Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be reading more of the Land of the Lustrous manga. Very excited. Closing in on the last stretch, I would say, of the story here. Maybe. But yeah, we're back. It's Saturday morning again, which was not planned. But we're here and we're making a start regardless. With the YouTube comments, if I can bring them up right here. A couple of comments here today, first starting here with Capella. Really enjoying these chapters, especially the last one with Daya and Bortz. And yeah, it was a little bit of a weird session last week. It felt like a lot of setup, it felt like a lot of build-up to the thing that is now happening, which is why I lamented my timing last week, but yeah, Foss is coming, Foss is scary, Foss is a demon, and yeah, everybody should fear for their lives, I guess. And yes, despite us being in the middle of the conversation here, I think an important thing has already been kind of uncovered. After 220 years, Daya is still obsessed with Bortz. In comparison to that, Bortz has completely changed from a battle freak into a jellyfish-loving freak. So who really changed more based on their location, I guess? Again, I've gone to the moon. Everything about me has changed fundamentally. Kind of. I feel like such a different person. And then when confronted with this person once again, I realize that I haven't changed at all and they've changed a bunch. But now listen, I would say it's tough because we haven't really seen much of the conversation. Bort still obviously cares about Daya, so like that hasn't changed, I don't think. A lot more of a mellow person can turn it on when they need to is now Bortz, but I don't believe that Bortz has dropped the Daya thing. I don't know. Yeah. I think they're about equal, which, again, does your environment really impact you that much? Is that the question we're getting at? And again, this is the annoyance for Daya, right? Going off to the moon after all this time, again, needing this because I want to escape Bortz's shadow, coming back, trying to shove it in Bortz's face, which you've already failed at that point, and then seeing that they've done basically the exact same thing in changing and whatnot, or at least doesn't harbor the same emotions. Again, you're doing it to get kind of won over on somebody almost, and then they don't react. It's the ultimate rage bait. And yeah, he's definitely falling for it at this juncture. But either way, we're literally right in the middle of that, so it's harder to talk about. Moving on here, we have the next and final comment from Ilyuru. Wrote a bunch of stuff here, but YouTube decides to delete it a day later. Fuck YouTube. I hate YouTube. I don't know if I should put that in the YouTube video, but I did. So, yeah, that sucks. In the future, if we want to get around this kind of stuff, I'm happy enough for people to post on Discord and then, or at least there's a backup almost, and then say, hey, my words were also on Discord, it's in this comment, and then reply to it or something. That's probably a nice stopgap solution there. Now, I'm happy I got some clarity here. That one panel that I was confused about with Goshen and Padparasha was when they were going up to Cicada, it was before they were on the ship, if that makes any sense, or the cloud, whatever you want to call it. So it's just a little flashback to the beginning of the chapter rather than Padparasha actually being on board, because it definitely did look like Padparasha's big, long, flowing hair. I'm happy we're picking up on the Foss spine thing. Admirabilis shell is what I quoted, but we're also saying it's akin to actually a spine as well. Again, I forget that they're gems all the time, and that they don't have bones and stuff. So again, having something akin to a human spine kind of built into you, I don't know, after your rebirth, after 220 years or whatnot, I don't know, it could be significant. And again, we're doing some good stuff here, good quality, you know, never trodden upon before ground of, as you become more human, you become more of a monster. Truly, man was the greatest monster of all time. Now, I'm happy I got this answer as well from last week. The leaf on their head is a Bodhi leaf, which is the symbol of enlightenment. Again, I would imagine that this is just the sprouting of which, because I'd imagine that another addition will be made to Foss. This is not how Foss ends this thing. That's my 2 cents. And yes, the foreboding nature of those chapters was definitely good, but led up to a little bit of an anticlimax as it pertained to the video itself, with us now getting into most of the climactic stuff from that setup. Knowing that there's no good stopping points, I think I'm just going to jump straight in and see what I can say. Oh, Patreon. I always forget Patreon. Getting towards the home stretch of Land of the Lustrous here. If you really want to see some of those last chapters 1 week early, the Patreon is available to you. It's linked in the description below. It's $6 a month, and you get all my videos 1 week early. I'd imagine this July month you're probably going to get double votes in a poll too, somewhere. One of them, we'll say. Many people have done so, up to and including Mickey Babbers, AJ, Bananarama Hamadama-sama, Capella, Tribo Ribby, Copley, Dapper Dwarf, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Fusel, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Guanal, Gus N, Hans Peter, I'm Mildly Anxious, Ika, Ilyuru, Yaku Yavanen, Jummy Boo, Joran, Kasogtha, Kelvin, Clem, Noster, Cod Begemot, Lick H, Lou, Marco San, Mistake L Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Aussie, Panic, Pencil Sharp 333, Run Led B&K, St. Lily, Sam1373, Skeleton, Tentacle Member, Waifu Overdose, Without a Net, Yuki Ali, Zach, Akumensa, Binshi, Voodoo Chili, and Aiden O'Brien. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. And yeah, not much setup. We're kind of in the middle of the invasion, I guess you would call it. Foss and all the Lunarians ever kind of invading Earth, where the Lustrous are, with a vow to kill every single gem. I know I can force Sensei to pray. I'm going to do so by grinding everybody else into dust. I don't know. Let's... It's worth a shot. I'm going to imagine that we don't end up grinding a lot of people into dust. Maybe just a few, just to send a message or something. But again, I have been wrong before. Let's jump in here to chapter 87, I believe. And there we have it, chapter 87, Silence. Don't know what's going to be silent about this. Maybe telling somebody to, like, shut up, stop preaching. Silence! Something like that, maybe. I forgot all about the cutesy, idly aesthetic going on over here with Daya as well, which is in stark contrast to the minimalism of boards. Yeah, that's definitely a stylistic kind of clash that's going on here as well, enhancing the visual flair of the manga. I also forgot the whip. Kinky. And we have Bullets here cracking the whip in a Daya. A little bit of stress here on the feet. What else is going on? A gag as you kind of struggle to yank on the whip forwards. That's the other thing I guess I should mention as well. If this thing is more actiony, going towards, again, what I'm imagining is one of the climactic sections of the manga, these chapters are going to go quicker as well. Again, just less dialogue, less pontificating on my part. But yeah, Dai's here to play, yanking this whip in, stabbing Bortz, or attempting to, being thwarted. I'm sensing almost embarrassment here from Bortz, like a little bit of shame on the part of Daya and how desperate Daya is being here, especially with this stuff down here after being blocked here. Again, I want to go down and finish this thing with Bortz. Being blocked pretty easily, no effort, just kind of, hey, chill out. Cheer me on! I can't hear you, you stupid losers! And then they're cheering ever so louder, feeding off of the attention of all the Lunarians, feeding off my fan base. I don't know, something social media culture versus a real relationship with another, being. Like, this is very, what's the word? Parasocial? Where this is an actual social relationship and that you're actually invested in, where this stuff is just merely ego boosting. I don't know, there's probably something there. Is that really Daya? Yeah, I think so. So all the other Lustrous are a little bit confused as well. We clash in once again. I'm loving this kind of Devilman Crybaby-esque, like, full lunge forward. That's pretty good. With a swish of the whip, we seemingly cut through something akin to a flower of sorts. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Is that like a lotus flower? Are we doing like a symbolism thing here? Because I can't quite see it here unless it's one of the things that are being thrown down by the Lunarians. Either way, there's a, what would you call it? A close call here from Bortz. Gets him on the back foot. Daya's in the air. Very interesting pose in the pelvic region. This is I don't know, I like the light behind him. It's like giving this like really menacing shadow down. Cool setup for an action scene, of course. And then, oh my god, you've changed, Dee Dee? I can't... Get your mind out of the gutter. It's Dee. This is a pretty look too. I like this. Like shock, Like so much malice here, looking down, shocked at this expression on Bortz's face. Genuine... Like, okay. Classic tsundere stuff. Bortz is a character that's never taken like a step back in their entire life. They've always been correct about everything, always been so forthright, always been this shining star up above me, something something. I'm not even sure if Bortz genuinely cares for me from Dia's perspective. We kind of got into a little bit of this stuff with the Shiro encounter many moons ago. So we're circling back to it now. This is the surprise that, again, Bort's showing that other side, almost giving me what I always wanted, you know? Little nickname to go along with it, just a little bit of sympathy, an acknowledgement of my strength, an acknowledgement of my change, an acknowledgement of my effort by somebody that I respect so very much, somebody that was almost unattainable. I've become the star in the sky, as opposed to them watching me from down below. Something like that. That's the way I would summarize it. It's good tsundere stuff. I'd imagine that does this shatter everything? Does this shatter this malice that you now have? Is this a disarming thing for you? Only time will tell. It didn't really disarm anybody. Okay. I can't say I saw that coming. Alright, yeah, shit. Okay. I mean, at least nobody's getting ground into dust yet. But I'm imagining this puts an end to this little encounter, maybe akin to the chapter title of Silence. The fans are probably silenced by this. I don't know, seeing their idol cut in twain. That's probably no good. Did I mention I love the little kind of extra stuff on the sword here? That's just brilliant. It's just good gear, isn't it? This is such a weird manga too, because any other kind of piece of fiction, if I see this, I'm like, oh fuck, 2 characters are dead. When in this one I'm kind of like, they'll probably be okay, as long as they're not grounded to dust, of course. Oh, expressions here are very interesting too. So Bortz is almost like resignation, like, okay, yeah, you got me, shit, I'm at peace with this. There's no malice in it compared to this, which looks like especially in the eyebrows, looks a little bit like, yeah, well, I showed you, but it's kind of half-hearted as well. I'm not really that into it after this whole element of it. Like, hey, it was easier for me to be gung-ho about murdering your ass when you weren't so sympathetic. It's indecision as well. It's did I make the right move by doing this? Yeah, again, the art in this manga is really good. I don't know if, again, it's part of art we don't really talk about very much. Just getting emotion across with drawing an image of somebody, like getting across a complicated feeling. Clearly, Dai is feeling conflicted here. That's being shown in the drawing, in the art. Very, very cool. Looking down here a little bit more, can I see anything particularly interesting? No, they're just kind of all falling apart. Fair enough. A little bit of, you know, if you're going down, I'm taking you with me type energy to it. Now, Yuke here, very interesting, and we're obviously building contrast with Foss. Yuke yells out for both Bortz and Dia. Still genuinely showing concern for both of the gems. Fair enough. Like, again, still holding on to that hope that we can bring everybody in and sing Kumbaya and do all that side of it. Foss here, probably not feeling that way. Seeing 2 gems almost being ground into dust, which is the goal currently, is funny. It elicits a laugh. An evil laugh. I think this is Alex looking up at Foss, being like, what the fuck is going on there? Again, Alex only briefly just took the blindfold off and is now springing into action. Again, this must be, like, you didn't even know that Foss looked like this. You didn't know that we were in this, like, giant procession of Lunarians. You've obviously got the thing where you see the Lunarians and you go crazy, so, like, what's happening? Yuke, we have to pick up their pieces. But all those Lunarians, I think there's something even worse on the horizon, potentially. Alex? Yo, this is like auras. Hell, this is like the wizard returns to the castle. This is sick. Is this Benito in the back? What's going on here with the goo? Were they covered in some goo? I forget. Anyway, it was last week. There's no way to know. Lex and Benito looking a little bit, like, violent? I don't know what the go is here with Lex. Yeah, okay, sure. What the fuck? My brain's been melted and I'm now killing all my friends? Again, that's what... You said that you were going to go on a mission with Foss. I didn't think you were as gung-ho about the killing thing. Have you been rewired? What's happening? This is, again, it's not even like Red Lex. Because it's like... Well, obviously I can't see if it's red or not, but it's way more calm. Red Lex would normally, like... It'd be like a release, because Lex is normally, like, studious and a little bit, like, fumbly and quiet and whatnot. But, like, nervous and, like, you know, idiosyncratic, like a weirdo. And then kind of turning on this really passionate side upon the red. This seems like a cold, calculating anger. Well, not even anger, just doing an action. It's a completely different mode. I wouldn't be surprised if we pair this with a different color, if and when this thing is animated and or colored. Anyway, who did we get here? I don't know. It's really hard to say. Zircon, maybe, and that's probably Melon. Either way, I've skewered the two of them with a Paling. Lex, stop! Don't just. I wonder if there's going to be a Nepti angle here. That could be a play. Okay, we have a 4-on-1 with that's Amethyst. It's hard to keep up with everybody, man. And either way, I don't need to think about it too hard because Lex has them covered. Lex is clearly the best fighter. I guess we're always just keeping that in the back pocket, maybe. Lex, stop, please, before chopping them down again. Look at poor Benito over here. Oh, hell nah. Am I reacting emotionally as I should? Probably not. Again, I said before, it's a weird one to talk about with people getting sliced in twine. They can always kind of come back. It like incapacitates them for the fight. And obviously Foss is still looking for the kind of revenge angle here, or like the killing them all angle, but I don't know. Again, normally in any other thing, somebody chopping their friends up into little bits is probably bad. In this one, it's more acceptable. And yes, here we have a Nepti coming through. Neptunite. Benito locking eyes with Nepti. Nepti locking eyes in turn. I've always wanted to tell you. Benito, what is it that you always wanted to tell me? I never liked how you made no sense. I felt like you were always looking down on me. And then Alex is just like hitting the fucking pillar. Hey, yo. But, and then a grink, and as the head is maybe coming off, we're like holding this leash. We're trying to like hold him back. Okay, let's set this up. I never liked how you made no sense. I felt like you were always looking down on me, but you better run. Okay, so they're still showing some preservation there. That pillar in the back definitely doesn't look structurally sound. Are we going to get some Alex dead, Benito dead type areas here? Dead? You know what I'm talking about. So a genuine warning from Benito to Nepti before a head comes off. And then, oh, okay, well, that didn't last long. Okay, sure. So the head full comes off. The headless body still swings around and hits Nepti. Benito loses balance, and the head still goes flying. I'm not quite sure what this is whamming into Benito. It's unsure what that is. Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Can I see anything that looks like that? Not really. Oh, is that... It's Alex's head. Yeah, okay, so that's the face. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Then in a very evocative way, we have Yuke left all alone in a darkened temple now. Everybody's pieces all over the floor. The exact opposite of what I wanted to happen. It's this big, violent massacre. Even the gems kind of that have come down, Benito and Alex, are also shattered. Like, it's all going terribly. And yeah, it's kind of just me. Sensei's off with Jade, I think. And we have about 1 trillion Lunarians incoming. This is definitely are we building up to like a Yuke snapping moment or something? The half shade on the face is giving me that a little bit. Like that there may be a change here. There may be a breaking of how calm you've been up to now. It's definitely like devastation, right? Because then we pan over to Foss, again, building that contrast between Yuke and Foss, which has been strong in this chapter and many others. It's over, says Foss. And like almost like swinging that arm down, kind of not really. Kind of directing the Lunarians in and saying, hey, it's time for the invasion to begin. We're getting boots on ground. There's little fragments of people all over the ground here. It's like a little broom or something. We sweeping them up? No, it's like a tassel. Okay, so yeah, it's boots on ground. Hey, we're here. The invading force is still coming, and it's only really Yuke on the other side holding down the fort. Important to remember, if Sensei does pray, everybody's dead regardless, and that it's important that Foss doesn't know that here at this juncture. And interesting, because who knows that information? Cairngorm knows that information. It would be interesting if Cairngorm can communicate that at all. That might be a bigger piece of the puzzle upcoming. Either way, that's the end of the chapter 87, Silence, which I don't really understand the chapter title there, but I digress. Next up we have chapter 88, Nature Experiments Future. I would imagine we're back up in the air right now, and this is going to be like Acmea waxing lyrical about something. The most human of all emotions is the thirst for revenge. What a contrast. We're out on a little ice cream date with Cairngorm and Acmea as opposed to the massacre. Anyway. Oh, this is hilarious too. So again, like Aura Farm line with the fucking ice cream. Like so serious. Like the most serious. Like big picture stuff, right? All that begins is designed to end. That kind of vibe. And then just Cairngorm not really caring. Just I'd rather order my ice cream. I'll have pineapple soda and fig yogurt with lots of crackles. And what'll you have? Mint muscat, pink chocolate, and champagne lemon. Here you go. This kind of order, it sounds like something you would order on holiday, and it would cost you like £15 for the 2 ice creams. Something like that. Or like €15 or something. Like, it'd be like ridiculous. And then, yeah, did you hear me? Mint muscat, pink chocolate, champagne lemon, and the most human of all emotions is the thirst for revenge, right? Yeah. I feel like you're not treating it with the gravitas that the line called for. And again, you definitely have your priorities correct by listing off the ice cream order before the important setup line for the chapter. Yeah, I was wondering what this was too. This is a hat, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the biggest large brim hats that I've ever seen. What is the purpose of wearing such a large hat? Which is, again, is very classic old Hollywood stylish, if I haven't said that already. When there's no sun. You're on the moon, buddy. Like, I know you're on the light side of the moon. There technically is sun, but it's not... It doesn't fit the same purpose, I wouldn't have thought, no? It feels like you're like copying what humans used to do, like what society used to do back in the day, in this very kind of classic white elite kind of way, without understanding the purpose. Again, it's like a parasol or something. It's not really the vibe. Either way, it's curious as well that these guys are essentially on holiday. It's very much being coded that way, whilst there's a war going on. Again, it doesn't really frame Acme as the good guy. It really feels like, again, I'm really sure that Foss is going to be successful in this one, and I want to do this, like, fun last little thing with Cairngorm as well, or the princess, whatever you wanted to call him. You said it's the smallest moon, but it's still so big. Oh! What is this? Is this the estate you wanted to lock me up in? Want to go inside? Not a chance. What is this? Little ball or something? It looks like a jumping castle. I don't know. So the estate you wanted to lock me up in, is this where... Because, again, I wanted to ship you off to this moon. This is going to be, like, this safe place for you to be when all this shit goes down. Like, I almost want to tuck you away somewhere. Like, keep you precious. And then, again, Cairngorm kind of stood up to that and said that I wanted to pass into nothingness with you. That was that whole scene back in the day. Again, still outright denying going inside the little scary jumping castle. Oh, and we're just coming out like that, are we? So humans were a lot like Foss. Yeah, you guys are reading along with me. Yeah, more in line with the line of wanting revenge. That reminds me, you tried to make humans once, didn't you? You were right to stop. Did you stop? I don't know, this look doesn't look like you stopped. Can you do the face? Not really. That's an intense looking face. It looks like he has something to hide. I do like this like Violet Evergarden vibes up here too, with the 1 foot on the water. I like that. Oh, now we're on like a speedboat. This is a cool chapter. I like this one. In an emergency, there are 2 conditions that would activate Congo's prayer. One is that Congo acknowledges the user as human. As I really like this kind of we're really setting a scene well here. Like the legs on the lap and like the 1 finger in the water. It's like not a care in the world. I've never had to like worry about money in my entire life. I've never had to worry about struggling. It's like this idyllic, classic type holiday type vibe. Old money, dude. Old money for sure. I should pay attention to the dialogue though. Cairngorm isn't, but I am. The other is an appeal to a higher power. And yeah, I want to get into what we mean by an appeal to a higher power. A higher power would be God, no? Or whatever the equivalent is. I wonder what do we mean by an appeal to a higher power? Anyway, you are boring, Cairngorm. Cairngorm's playing with a bunch of like doohickeys. What we got? Like candy, dog treats, lots of stuff. I guess the dog's there. I was like, why the fuck would you have dog treats? Is that a human must have faith in Congo's power as a non-human entity and trust its entire being to that power. Hang on. Whole sentence. What I mean by an appeal to a higher power is that a human must have faith in Congo's power as a non-human entity and trust its entire being to that power and wish from the bottom of its heart for life to end. So, break this down, is that a human must have faith in Congo's power as a non-human entity and trust its entire being to that power and wish from the bottom of the heart for life to end. Okay, so there is an element of it of Congo not having power over it, right? But to me, these are almost the same thing because in both instances, you need a human, right? Because one human says, hey, Congo, pray, and then Congo prays. Fair enough. The other one is human has faith in Congo's power as a non-human entity and trust its entire being to that power and wish from the bottom of its heart for life to end. The reason why I'm harping on this is that in a dialogue sense, we're bringing this up because it's probably going to happen. This is like setup payoff stuff. So I want to get to the bottom of this. Yeah, it still is that a human must have faith in Congo's power. So a human still needs to be involved. No? Again, it seems like a semantics issue to me. Where again, this one, humans can just do it. The other one is just humans need to do it as well. So we still need humans. Nothing changes, right? We're really hammering home this Cairngorm not a care in the world type angle too. Feeding little candies to Acmea. Stop talking about important dialogue. Here, have a sweet. That's how it works, but should I drop this subject? No, go on. You just could not care less. In other words, to intentionally operate Congo from the outside, we need a human to voluntarily ask the machine to pray. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah, again, still need the human. In recent centuries, we have learnt that rather than a true Homo sapien, Congo would judge more mercifully if dealing with a pseudo-human built from a gem. Again, I thought we were going here, and we are. I forget where it was. I might bring up the Discord. I think it was maybe there. They brought up something curious. So I'm here on some kind of Buddhism library. 7 treasures or 7 kinds of gems, precious substances mentioned in the sutras. The list differs among the Buddhist scriptures. According to the Lotus Sutra, the 7 are gold, silver, lapis lazuli, seashell, agate, pearl, and carnelian. It is the treasure tower adorned with the 7 kinds of treasures, hearing the correct teaching, believing it, keeping the precepts, engaging in meditation, practicing assiduously, renouncing one's attachments, and reflecting on oneself. So basically what I read from that is that we're one treasure away from enlightenment. Because again, what's this list again? Like, we've kind of got, like, gold already. Silver? Where do we get silver? I don't know if we got silver. Anyway, we've definitely have lapis lazuli for sure. Seashell, agate, both of those. Pearl, the eye. Yeah, where's silver? Am I stupid? So I've made a discovery. Yeah, mercury is also known as quicksilver. I don't know if people are reading along with me. If they do, potentially they'll put in a spoiler warning. If, again, by the end of what I see here today, this is very important. And it makes me think that for some reason we already have carnelian or whatever it was called. Maybe that's the little spots in Lapis's hair or whatever. Anyway, it's a little red something as carnelian. But yeah, quicksilver is important. Let me put it that way. And again, I'm seeing something akin to achieving, I don't know, enlightenment or reflection or blah, 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 blah. All those things that we kind of mentioned there as well, kind of spinning off into this world's equivalent of being a pseudo-human. Almost. Like, that's my read at the moment. So now your goal in all of this has been, or has become clear. Your goal was to make Foss more human-like. What is that first line of the chapter? The most human of all emotions is the thirst for revenge. I want to, like, double down on that revenge feeling very much for Foss. That is mostly my plan here. And again, that's why you were so adamant pardon the pun, about the like holding on to that feeling once Foss is rebuilt, right? Hold on to that revenge type feeling because it's important to my plan. Look at you, you can hardly like hold it together down here. Are you gonna burst into laughter or something? No, he's not. Is this feet on the face technology? What the fuck? Hey, yo, I didn't know this manga was like that. Yo, okay. Kangorm misreading the situation is also very funny. Very clearly, we're talking about Foss, no? You're not turning me human? No, that's clearly not what's happening. Are you not paying attention? I'm kidding. That wouldn't fulfill the voluntary requirement, which is somebody needs to voluntarily become a human, I guess, which is kind of what Foss is doing. Anyway, besides, I've already made a human, blah, 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 blah. Foss? Hang on. For the first 300 years following Foss's birth, the gem harbored a need for validation that was out of proportion with such a fragile body. Unable to receive an assignment even from Congo, and incapable of creating an individual role to fulfill, the gem led an empty existence. Incapable of creating an individual role to fulfill. Yeah, it definitely didn't really have a spot, that was true. That's where we found potential. You made Foss into a human? Yes, finally you're catching on. Oh my god. That's a very funny panel to take out of context as well. Imagine showing that to somebody at the start of the manga. They're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know who he's kind of giving as well? He's giving like Akio vibes from Utena at the moment. Just kind of, he looks like he's in a car. Or he's in a boat. He's in the driver's seat. He's got a 15-year-old in the passenger seat. It's just like not good, basically. Oh, here we go. This is the dialogue. If anyone would accept change in order to find fulfillment, it would be Foss. We provided countless opportunities for the gem to acquire through natural processes elements of the other two human descendant races and become a pseudo-human that would act of its own volition. Of all those opportunities, only two came to fruition, giving Foss a strong admirabilis legs and deft new alloy arms. Even so, the gem was too pure. Then we made a leap forward with the attachment of Lapis Lazuli's head. The right amount of intelligence can be a powerful poison. It's an interesting word. Oh my god, somebody call Cinnabar. Now, a part of this that I'm not really vibing with is that it feels like we're trying to claim this is all part of the plan from the very beginning, which I don't like, really. It feels very convenient. It feels very like, oh, I was in control the entire time. I don't agree. I don't know, again, when you got infinite time, I guess you can plan these kind of things. It's tough. It's a tough one to talk about. I guess that makes sense. Why else would you drop the shell in the beginning? Like you drop that kind of ventricusis, right? You drop ventricusis because you want something to happen with Foss. You drop it near Foss. And then you're like, yay, the snail ate Foss, fuck yeah, something may happen here. So again, through this time, you're like, okay, there's an opportunity here, let's keep just throwing bullshit at them. It's almost like reverse engineering the protagonist status of Foss. Foss was a protagonist because we deemed Foss to be the protagonist. Again, then we know about the Lapis Lazuli head, we put Foss in a position whereby that Lapis head... We steal Foss's head, so then we need to replace a head. Yeah, it's kind of making sense. Then, and this is what makes you so special, Antark, Ghost, Padparasha, and the other gems actively helped Foss and fostered growth of their own free will. But you were different. You had a psychiatric disorder. Jesus Christ. Very rude to your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner. It's hard to say. So again, all these side characters that we kind of just edge towards Foss made an impact, but you most of all, Kangorm, right? You had your thing going on, and you branching out and becoming your own person was almost this final catalyst to get the ball rolling. Again, it makes it very cynical why you two are even like attached, because I kind of did this and kind of used you to get to Foss in a weird way. Does that make you feel less special? And then it's funny from Acme's perspective, because Acme is like, what's the word? He still feels an attachment there. There's something genuine there with Kangorm still. There's an emotion there, and that's more the human side coming through, that I can't just blindly use somebody like this completely. There has to be some amount of affection there, but ultimately it's still in service of this greater kind of thing that I'm planning. Again, you had a psychiatric disorder that forced you into a long-term babysitting job that you did not ask for. Your presence stabilized Foss, but for some reason that bothered me immensely. I had that estate built as a thank you and as an apology for making you give us the most important century of this project. That would be the time whereby Foss hadn't woken up after getting Lapus's head. That would be this century that we're talking about. Fair enough. Okay, so because you endured a psychiatric disorder, as we say, for that long, this is like the thank you. What the fuck am I looking at? What is this? Okay, so... what? Okay, as an apology, giving us the most important century, blah, 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 blah. But, hey, just say it was love at first sight, and then a clong as the two embrace and kiss. I'm glad you like me. I got all nervous over nothing. Damn it. What were you... I feel like you, again, are misreading the situation, Kangom. This is not like a... hooray, my boyfie. No, it's... He made you go through so much pain. He recognized that you were one way and kind of just left you there in the service of making Foss another way the entire time. If, again, he is as kind of omnipresent as he's saying. But the elephant in the room is the whole leg lock nature of this. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Hey, yo. And the bikini? Hey, yo. I know they're just like Ken dolls down there, but like, Jesus. Settle down. Also, you're very, like, flexible. This is odd. Okay, at long last, Foss came to the moon, combined the three races in one individual, and even felt enough despair and thirst for revenge to wish for life to end. Congo and the Lustrous, the Admirabilis, you and the moon, with all of your help, we now have this going on. The little one has grown into a fine human being. This doesn't look like a human to me, but anyway. Again, that's probably what we're talking about, the whole spinal situation from before. I don't like the kind of, the collar here, the necklace. That's, like, odd. It's very spiky, very, evil looking. Yeah, is Kangorm stupid? I would feel insulted by this. All of this was in service of Foss. Even now, I couldn't beat Foss. Even now, my boyfriend, the love of my life, all this other bullshit, my husband, whatever you... because they're married, right? Like, all of his focus in all of this was on another gem. Wouldn't I feel immense jealousy? That's the way I would... I feel Kangorm is stupid, no? And then, again, Kangorm seemed still kind of nervous about the whole... everybody's passing on type idea. Like, hey, he's executed his plan here. Foss is going to go down there and going to end all of this. How do I feel about that? I feel like we're not unpacking any of this with Kangorm. I got all nervous over nothing. Damn it. What are you talking about? That's really odd. I don't know if we're going to address that anymore. Oh, really? Then I guess Foss will get Congo to work this time. Good for you. Everything's going according to plan. Actually, Congo will never pray again. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay. Alright, I'm intrigued. Then what's the plan? Those last two startups were happy accidents, but they gave me definitive proof that the malfunction is irreparable. Our plan will not go any further. So what are you going to do? What am I going to do? Hey! For now, I'll make our protege more than human. What the fuck? Hey, yo. Well, listen. Okay, chat room. So, can't humans just pray? So a human can tell Prayerbot to pray, and then Prayerbot will pray, right? But humans can also just pray. Like, the whole thing was that this Prayerbot was going to exist well past humans just to make sure that everybody gets prayed for and can pass on and whatnot. That was the whole idea. But if Prayerbot doesn't work, we just got human, and then human can pray anybody away. Because human is human, no? Or maybe can pray all the Lunarians away? Yeah, I'm curious to see how this will go. This is confusing me a little bit. This is just the beginning. Would you believe that? And then shock from Kangorm. If you and I were to have what is called a child, and if we were to consider that child's real happiness, I would want to give it a future apart from this stalemate between the three races. This guy's talking about children? Time and place, dude. I don't know. He's feeling some kind of way on the boat. I don't know. Also, again, you're not going to be able to have children, buddy. We established the Kendall status over here. Kendall. Like, that's not going to work the way you think it's going to work. Important question. Do the Lunarians have penises? It's a very important question. I know that the Admirabilis probably do. They procreate and have children. There are generations of Admirabilis. Is that part of where we're going here? Or maybe it's like a theoretical child. If you and I were to have what is called a child, and if we were to consider that child's real happiness, I would want to give it a future apart from the stalemate. Okay, if we were to have another thing that we would care about so very much in the future generations, just the shorthand, I would want them to not be born into the world the way it is. I would want them to have a very different life. And then again, Kangorm always undercutting the seriousness of whatever Acme is talking about. You really suck at choosing gifts. I don't think this child is going to like it at all. And then a little laugh, a little smile. Again, he's always in power. I hate it. I can see it now. Okay, what can you see? I just kind of see the moon. The dark side of the moon, of course. I can see it now. And then moon crater. Okay. Anything else? It's evocative. It's like a vast emptiness. It's the next stage. It's a precipice. We're getting so close to something changing forever. This could be representative of this next generation or whatnot, right? Of the future where they won't have to deal with this thing anymore. But it also being represented by an encroaching darkness probably isn't, a good omen, I would say. It's definitely an evocative kind of 2-page spread. I can't say I expected it here at this time. Oh yeah, and we did make our way into the crater that was pictured as well. This is the deepest crater on all the 6 moons. It has a layer of high purity ice at the bottom. Huh. So what about it? This? Seriously? Apparently, lustrous memories prefer high-purity crystals. Barbata and the others will be coming along later. I want you to help them with the analysis. Oh yes, speaking of ice, no, I'll save that until after I get back. It's about time I go to Earth myself. Okay, weird. Okay, so what's the deal with the ice? Something memories? Yeah, because it has a layer of high-purity ice. We like high-purity crystals. We're going to analyze the high-purity water here. Ice makes me think of Antark, of course, but not sure how accurate that all is. I don't know, there's like water down here. That's weird to me, because water is ice, right? Okay, anyway, he's off to Earth. I don't really know what that means. This is a very confusing and dialogue-heavy chapter, which is also the end of the volume? Yeah, that caught me off guard as well. Again, my file set for this whole thing that I've been using up to now kind of stops here. So I'm going to check and see if I have 12 somewhere. I think I do, but after that I'll need to download the next one. Okay, the Land of the Less Aged. Morga, help us out. Morga, over here. Morga, about tomorrow. Morga. It really helps that Morga is so dependable. Yeah, cheerful and helpful too. And the youngest gem here, very impressive. Okay, fucking Morga got their shit together. They were kind of meek and nervous before. Oh no, all these years we've been acting young and letting the older gems baby us. This does not look good for us. Oh, with these two. They're like the comedy duo, so yeah, that's funny. And then Zircon, hehehe. That's not the only problem. That voice! The strangely aged younger gem Zircon. That's right. Morga is not only dependable, but hasn't lost any freshness. What? We don't stand a chance. Should we just let Morga baby us? Morga, give me attention. Okay, so Morga's already progressed past the 3 of you, like maturity-wise, and has like almost adopted a senpai-type personality. Are we gonna see any, Morga Goshen stuff again? That'd be interesting. Because again, in contrast, like, fucking Morga's seems pretty dependable. Goshen says, fuck that shit, I'd be fucking skateboarding. So that's kind of a contrast. That'd be worthy of a little bit of discussion. Oh, okay, you probably could have just kept Anarchy translation notes. I would have understood what they meant by that. Goshen addresses Padparasha as Anarchy. Fair enough. The term translated here to appeal to a higher power is Taruki Hongan, which literally means sincere wish for outside power. It refers to a concept in Buddhism, shock horror, and other faiths that enlightenment, salvation, etc. comes not from one's own efforts, but must be generated from an outside power, such as the Buddha. Okay, yeah. Again, I was just attaching it to my Christian-centric kind of mindset. Yeah, sure. Comes from its own, not from one's own efforts, but from an outside power, such as the Buddha. So who would be the Buddha in this kind of equation? I don't know. It's hard to say. I always love to look at our little ads. What is Beyond the Clouds? Okay, yeah, sure. Sweat and Soap. Isn't this the weird? This is like the stinky one. Yeah. There's a fine line between sexy and awkward. She sweats a lot. Yeah. I've heard of this one. I haven't read it though. Knight of the Ice. That looks like some bullshit. Okay, yeah, sure. There's always some interesting stuff here. I don't recognize most of these. Saint Young Man. I've heard that's quite good. World of Clamp. Very cool. Ray Earth. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, let's see if I have this next volume somewhere. So yes, I do indeed have 12. And this seems very similar. This is from a different source, but it still says Kodansha Comics. So I should be fine. It should be the similar thing. I've been told, once again, not to look at volume 12. We're going to look at 11 and 12 after I finish this volume, apparently. If I forget, somebody just remind me, because I'd be interested. And what's so spoilery about it all, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, Yama. Yama means mountain, chat. I know that one. But maybe it means something else in this context. I don't know. Potentially there's some Buddhism thing. This seems to be right off the heels of the last chapter with Kangom reacting to the information that Acmea is going to the moon. Whoa, hold on. You need to tell me everything right now. I'll be right back. It'll just be a second. Then I'm going with you. Please trust me. I can't. Ha ha ha. Don't you ha 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 me. Sorry to keep you waiting. Such avant-garde architecture. When did you have the time to build all this? What, the crater? What the hell are you talking about, man? I don't know if you're going to hear sirens in the background too, but they're definitely there. Okay, so this has come as a shock to Kangom, and now we have Amethyst and Barbata here as well. Wait, does this mean Barbata doesn't know about what you just told me? Of course not. No one does. The best place to raise a natural human is a natural environment. Hey, I'm hearing some unsettling conversation over there. He does know everything else. Barbata, tell them about the ice flows. Yo, it's all coming together, chat. That's cool. The ice flows? Oh, you mean Congo's sibling? What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean by that? Hey, yo. Sibling? Yeah, it was top secret information that was never documented. It was long ago, back when there were still humans on Earth. And as he tries to, escape, we have Kangom gripping the arm, making sure that he can't scurry off anywhere. That being Acmea. Okay, I just want to continue to read the dialogue here, then maybe come back and react to the information, because every panel is a big revelation here at this time. Okay, Congo had a sibling. Seems like some kind of black box of sorts. You know what this almost reminds me of? You know when, fucking Foss was in the gold cube? It's kind of giving me that a little bit too. I don't know if, again, it's probably not pertinent, but it's probably interesting visual information. Again, the gold was like a prison as well. That's probably worthy of note. This machine deliberately miscalculated a meteor trajectory and let it hit Earth. It's fucking cool, yo. In an attempt to establish authority over the humans and take over the planet, the collusion didn't result in major devastation, but naturally the device was scrapped and chucked into the ocean. So it was a supercomputer that basically turned evil, or at least wanted to get revenge on humans, which is kind of interesting, I would say. The ice flows reflect our anxieties back at us. It seems like this thing has been embedded in the ice. It seems just like a dangerous, evil type operation. Does it have an eye? Is this an eye? Is it a camera? It's hard to say. Anyway, there's almost... If this thing is like Congo and almost has like a consciousness, right? Trapping it in the form of literally a black cube that can just sit and fucking do whatever is... It's kind of like historically torturous, if that makes any sense. It's this purgatory type state of having consciousness but not being able to move or grab at things or embrace or love any of those things. So again, that's the whole argument behind like sentient AI type takeover stuff, whether it be like a Skynet type thing or I have no mouth and I must scream. Like, yeah, at a certain point, these things, if they think about it a little bit more logically and maybe develop this kind of consciousness element to it and we put a lot of power into them, then, it ends in disaster. The next generation machine, Congo, became subject to excessive rigid controls, thus laying the groundwork for the mess we're in now. Ultimately, humans didn't have a chance to recover from the chaos of mechanophobia before a series of meteor strikes wiped them out. The original device was reduced to a faint consciousness drifting in the ocean, i.e. this is what the ice flows are. So that's interesting. We made this thing. It's like Congo's older brother. It fucked up to the point of, wanting to establish authority over humans. It was almost too human in that it wanted to, like, take revenge or like press control or fight, whatever human nature is, to the point where it needed to be suppressed. And then we did excessive testing and made almost the exact opposite type of thing, right? Something that wouldn't do the job because it, cared about them too much, right? It still ultimately isn't doing what its function is, but it's doing it in a much nicer way. So it's same problem, different aim, I guess, for Congo and his sibling. Also love the term mechanophobia. That's a cool one. I haven't heard that one. So humans didn't have a chance to recover from the chaos of mechanophobia. So they were still scared of robots towards the end there. Now that consciousness materializes in the winter sea, as ice flows, it disguises itself to look like our army, hoping to find someone who will help revive it. Okay, I was gonna mention this. It's hard to tell with the art, but I was like, yeah, it kind of looks like a warship. Kinda. And now that obviously they're pointing it out, I definitely see it. But I just thought it was kind of a neat visual touch, or I wasn't quite seeing it right or something. But no, that's kind of cool. It's like its consciousness is like seeped into the water and it's making things that look like fighting. Or whatever its idea of fighting was before the end. Come to think of it, that's what took Foss's arms, right? To make a deal? Doubtful. Probably just trying to get attention. Well, either way, it's best to keep your distance because the thing's probably kind of dangerous. Interesting. Okay, so Foss took Foss's arms, try to get attention. Yeah. Is this ice flow thing still plotting away? Is this part of the ice flow dude's plan too? Hey, yo. Maybe. I don't know. It's a weird one. Like, I took Foss's arms and that set off the kind of dominoes to the point where I could return. I don't know, man. Something's happening. Was that not good enough? Also, there are a lot of memories in this particular location. Is there any reason you built this place here? A lot of memories? Yeah. Personal ones? Well, to be quite candid, I am ultra interested in everything about your private life, Sensei. That is candid. Okay, so were you unsatisfied by the explanation, maybe? I don't understand memories. Memories in this particular location. What kind of memories? Your memories? And then Amethyst is like, I want to know your memories. These two are, they're fucking, definitely, for sure. You can tell. The thing is, it's not just about my own personal history, but I guess it's fine. So since we're on the subject, I'll tell you. Thank you. Because so many people died when the 6th meteor hit, a lot of souls had no one to pray for them. They ended up on the moon, all mixed into each other, separated again, and became the Lunarians we are now. So that was my next question. Yeah, I understood this part, but I was going like, okay, are these like literal one-to-one like ghosts compared to their humans before that time? This kind of debunks that. They ended up on the moon mixed into each other's like stuff, and they separated again and became Lunarians. So I don't think we have a Barbata equivalent before the apocalypse, or a Acmea equivalent before the apocalypse. It's kind of just a regen of that mix, maybe. But early on, there were enough Lunarians to cover all 6 moons. Okay. This is interesting. We all made the most of our ageless immortality, lived it up for a while, then everyone of us got tired of it and wanted to move on to the peaceful world. But there wasn't a single human being left on Earth. Yeah, fair enough. Then we finally remembered that Congo was still down on Earth. The shock from the meteorite strike had caused some malfunctioning, so Congo was incomplete, but the machine did acknowledge Lunarians as a species related to humans, and each day, several of us were broken down into our pure elements. Now this is interesting. So, some Lunarians come down and they're like, yeah, chill. I'm chill, bro. I'm chill. I'm cool. And then he does it. At least early on, right? And we were broken down into our pure elements. I don't know what that means in that context. I was going to say, is that the water now? Maybe? But it seems like, again, if we had 6 moons worth of dudes, and now it seems like we have 1, did 5 societies out of 6 get saved, and then we're left with the most, like, debaucherous, unsalvageable people? Is that why this Lunarian society that we've seen all this time is so fucked? Like, we have 5 moons up here living the tenets the way they should be and got prayed for accordingly. And we're still recognized as humans, where these guys are not? Is there something in that, maybe? But we all had to wait our turn. We were so desperate it didn't occur to anyone to think about repairs in case Congo stopped functioning before their turn. And now I have a question for my dear little honor students. How do you think the Lunarian Society determined who got to go first in line? Rock, paper, scissors, drawing straws. Ah, so sweet. The right answer is the introduction of inequality. The fuck are you talking about? What do you mean by that? Do you mean capitalism? Okay. Because we had all melted together, we were all equal with no race or gender, and that made it pretty hard to determine any kind of disparity. So we figured that in that case, we'd pick apart everything we could. We'd find things like when we separated into individual Lunarians, whose composition happened to have the highest percentage of criminal souls in them, and whose had a high percentage of contributing members to society, and used that for our basis for assigning a waiting order. Cicada, B, myself, everybody here was unlucky enough to be classed in the lowest social strata. So I'm kind of right. We kind of... That must be frustrating for the remaining Lunarians, right? Because of something that was completely and totally out of my control, like just my formation. Right? It's essentially race. It's something you cannot control, right? It's a thing about you that you are being kind of segregated because of, that you have no bearing on, right? And because we just needed to pick some kind of order, this is what we decided upon. We were the ones left below. So again, I feel kind of bad over here for being like, are they the only ones left because they're sinful? No, they're the only ones left because they were determined by some arbitrary metric to be the only ones left. That's kind of fucked up. They tossed us into this giant, permanently shadowed crater, and they called the whole place the Kumela region. Kumela meaning wastebasket. From then on, we spent our days literally tearing each other apart while our bodies constantly regenerated. This is like... Oh, what's the word? It's kind of like this tweet. This is one of my favorite tweets. I don't know if this was the person that originally tweeted it, but it's somebody. I would find a way to make money here. Like, this is the pool where all the Lunarians are, like, fucking around right now. It's, like, the beginning of life. Just, like, kind of where it's all starting up, you know? Or, like, something kind of like that as well. Yeah, just, like, the beginning of everything type shit. Either way, one day, the region chief came to inspect the area for the first time and noticed how fucked up it was. It's, like, elevating out of here. This is, like, the pool where it all began. And they're like, oh, shit. The scene of carnage was so intense, the bastard immediately ran and never looked back. But besides that coward, there was a gangly assistant, the type who was too emo and goody two-shoes to be any kind of reliable, wearing a shining badge announcing that this assistant was not a full-time employee. This bespectacled loser of a youth was the only one who stayed. Tell me what you need, I will make sure you get it. What the fuck? These people are fucked up over here. Hey, yo. Okay, is this our boy? I think this is our boy. You didn't abandon us, did you, Section Chief Emma? Emma? Or is it like an Ema? I don't know. Sure. Okay. So the remnants of like humanity were struggling in like a pool where like the wastebasket people were like in the trash bin, and at our lowest point we have Acmea essentially coming over and saying, "Hey, I'm extending a hand to help you guys." Dude, he's kind of locked in too. Hey yo. This now reminds me, if I go back to the start of this volume, not too far though. Like this was definitely the image I saw, and I was like, "What? Get me out of here!" Chapter 89. What do you mean? Like way back in the day, before I'd even started reading the manga, I was like, I'd read that and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Okay, Director Emma. I'm gonna go with Emma. Director Emma of the Camella Region Community Health Promotion Office, Health and Welfare Bureau, became Emma, Camella Region Administrator, and our new chief even gave up a better place to line to serve with us. What? Okay, so he got promotion. Our new chief even gave up a better place in line to serve us. So, okay, there's still this order of who gets to go first. You've sacrificed that to save us, basically. So he was on a different social strata. He could have gone. He hasn't gone, and that's an interesting twist. That's a really selfless move by Acmea, right? That's probably why he has so much respect in society. No? Interesting. It seems like the one thing he wants to is to pass on, but he doesn't want to leave anybody else behind either. Because of that, Lunarians in the other social strata abbreviated his title to A. Emma Kumela and eventually started calling him Acmea. Okay, so that's how we get the name. Sure. Is that why he doesn't like the name? That's interesting. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Emma set up a town for us, and we waited patiently for our turns, but then Congo broke down. The residents of Camella were left behind. That was right about when the first Lustrous were born. Okay, so that's our timeline stuff. Gotcha. Okay. So that was my question from last week? Yeah, I think it was last week. Or the week before. The timing now makes sense, is the point. So we were just in line to go. 5/6 of everybody is gone. Just the trash people are left. Just right at that right time, the Lustrous were also born, which coincides with Sensei breaking down. Fair enough. Barbata. What? I can tell them. You were never cut out to be a prince anyway. Stop pushing yourself. You've already done more than we ever should have expected. You're not saying my name correctly. It's not Ima. It's Yama. And then he disappears. And he's probably off to Earth, because he says he can do that in any second. Okay, there's probably some significance there to the Emma Yama stuff. Okay, chat room. We're on the Wikipedia page for Yama Buddhism. Very cool. Yama is the king of hell and a Dharmapala, wrathful god, said to judge the dead and preside over the narakas and the cycle of the samsara. Okay. Wrathful god, king of hell, judge the dead. This is all in line with our little story that we saw. Wrathful god is interesting and is potentially foreboding for what he's about to do on Earth. Yeah, I mean, I'm not probably going to read all of this stuff, but it's interesting to see how that all connects, and it's probably a big oh shit moment for somebody that's a little bit more well-read about Buddhism overall. Either way, moving swiftly onwards to chapter 90, Crushed, where we're going to meet back up with Foss, who is walking into the temple, gems flown everywhere, even his friends, you know, the people that were on his side, Alex and Benito and whatnot, they're crushed too. You know, Daya crushed, Bort's crushed, everyone's crushed. Now chapter 90, Crushed. We continue to crush and mash and cree on the gems with a gun and a gush and a snap and a crunch and a heh and a crash and a blah. Cool. Okay. This is like the Joker. The Joker's walking in after the chaos has happened and is observing the battlefield and is happy about it because I'm insane. There is one lone soul standing in the way, and that is Yuke, with a face half shrouded in darkness. What can Yuke hope to do against such an unrelenting force, such a powerful foe in Foss? However, we are still standing up against the darkness, with sword in hand regardless, still with a look of broad concern of my friend who's gone crazy. I don't know. Foss is doing something. It being part of a grand design, it being part of the grand design of the King of Hell is kind of metal. Yo, Foss. Foss, dude, you gotta find a better influence. That's all I'm trying to say. Interesting. I was wondering if this was going to happen as well. So Yuke lays the sword aside and prostrates, essentially, right? Foss looks confused a little bit. So it's like hunched back. Get a spine specialist to sort that out. I admit defeat. So, still at this moment, all of my friends are dead. You've pushed me to the edge. And even still, I'm still ready to be like kind of chill about the whole thing and search for forgiveness and play with your emotions. Yes, I still trust, I still believe in you, Foss. That's what this is saying to me. Take me to the moon. I want to talk with you and the Lunarians. Please, just let me talk to you. If we take the time, I'm sure we can find an answer that will make everyone happy. I believe we were given these long lives so that we would have the time to overcome these difficult problems. Okay. So I just want to pause. Don't kill me. I just want to talk. I just want to communicate. I'm being as peaceful as possible. And I believe that our immortality is almost a blessing, that we have all the time in the world to work out the issues that we have. Again, almost the opposite view to a lot of the Lunarians that see this infinite life, immortality, or whatever, as a curse. Almost the form that they're in as a curse. Where again, Yuke on the other side seeing it as more of a blessing, maybe talking to this contrast ultimately between the Lunarians and the Lustrous. Anyway, let's see how this is received. Please be our mediator. You're the only one who can. You need me? Pondering the request is Foss. Okay. I don't see this going well. The chapter is called Crushed. That's all I'm going to say. And again, yes, looking down with some amount of, what's the word? Disgust, disdain for my fellow gem, even if I can say that anymore. Really loving the shadow work here as well, playing off of the two-sided nature of Yuke's hair as well, which is really cool. And I mean, yeah, I thought this was going to happen. So, you need me, yes, even at this most vulnerable, at this most peaceful, Foss is still kind of one-focused in their motivation. Yeah, I'm going to crush every gem into the tiniest pieces possible. Foss, why? Why are you doing this? Foss, please. Foss, you must hear me. Fictional character. Page on a screen in front of me. You must hear me. Yeah, Foss is being brutal. Yuke's head against the floor here. Well, I don't need anyone. So you need me, I don't need you. I've let this revenge kind of become my focus and my center and my everything for so long that a small kind of prostration in front of me isn't going to change that. It's almost like a praying stance as well, I guess, is the other element. Again, with this whole Foss human allegation. This is definitely interesting. Somebody praying before Foss. Kind of very similar imagery to back here, where we saw this Lunarian praying in front of Sensei, right? Now, over here, no, we're not treating that with any type of reverence, anything. We're just going to kill you. However, there is but one gem left. As we hear a crash, as Yuke's head and body is flung to the ground, we have Rutiel over here, still at this time, appraising Padparasha, still hopelessly devoted. Hasn't changed at all, you would say. Well, temperament has changed, focus has not, and this all but confirms whatever Rutiel is feeling, right? Like, Foss is a monster. Foss took my beloved from me for so very long. Foss had them alive, and Foss almost took that away from them as well. Yeah, there's a real element of, like, still wanting revenge here that's, like, bubbling under the surface. You can't imagine that this is going to be a peaceful reaction from Rutiel. It could be that. It could be like, I'm so just done. I'm done with being devoted. I'm done with you. I just want to pass on too. I given up hope, you know? Again, let's stop kind of guessing and see. Finish them, says Foss. Instead of doing it himself, I'd rather the Lunarians do it for me. And again, aim their weapons at an unarmed person kneeling on the ground in front of somebody else. And Foss is going to walk and slay their way over to Sensei. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here with a pling, clang, crunch, crish, crack. You would imagine that that's Rutiel shot in the head. If that's the way Rutiel goes down, if that's the last we see of Rutiel, that is truly hopeless. That is a feels bad, man. That's terrible. Either way, I'm burying the lead. Congo is what Foss says here, probably having spotted Sensei? No. Congo is not here. This is Jade. Annoying pest! And a fist clenched. There's a fight about to ensue between these two parties. Crushed is the end of the chapter as these two also kind of devilman crybaby into each other, much like Dyer and Bortz did back in the day. Interesting. I think I've got one more in me. Well, I got time. I got time for sure. Maybe two, we'll see. So again, I'm seeing that this Yuke Jade thing's always been a thing. Yuke's been the level head, Jade's almost been the muscle. This almost screams like revenge for Yuke. Yuke was so peaceful, why did you have to do this to him? Now I'm going to get my revenge on you. I can't imagine it ends well for Jade, though, either. Foss has an army behind him and is also a killing machine in his own right. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if that just cut Jade's head right off. But with a Peking, we begin at chapter 91, Jade. And, yeah, they're fighting. Interestingly enough, it seems that Jade is fighting with his fists as well. A very human thing to do, I would argue. Like, I don't have any weapons. It's almost primordial. I like it. Again, can't imagine its success is going to ultimately be that high, especially against the gold goo powers over here. Foss almost acknowledges this fact that you are going to punch, dodges, and then counters with the gold. So again, limbs going in all directions, shining, very cool. Sword, cool. The action here is quite cool. I like this kind of landing pose from Jade before bounding back up and dodging the gold once again. Foss still onely determined, still a little bit of sympathy in Jade's eyes, I would argue, as a K-smash breaks right through Foss before the gold is going to pull Foss back together. That's where I almost have like a biological advantage over you, right? I'm just more advanced. I'm closer to human, you know? I'm less, one-elemented. I'm this coagulation of everything. Yeah, so again, it seems like we're winning, but can you ever really win against Foss? Because Foss is just going to regenerate. We took Foss apart and put the pieces in a million locations for 220 years, and Foss still regenerated. Like, Foss is determined, if nothing else. And Jade says, grrr, and then kicks the body away, tries to separate that gold once again. The gold, however, has a mind of its own and fights back, foaming out of the corpse of Foss. Jade's pretty strong here, too. Was he hiding his power level the entire time? Because, yeah, look at this, like, shattering on the stone here as Jade kind of bounds off of it. Again, onely determined. Going for the super kick, super kicker here and now. But again, it seems that Foss has clocked this and maybe doing something to counter. Yes, with the gold. There we go. Yeah, what is it here? The night made you panic. The roaring night? No, that's something else. No, the night made you... Can you not see in the dark? I feel like that's a more cutting line than I'm seeing at the moment. Is there something with Jade in the nighttime that I'm forgetting? Maybe. Anyway, please let me know. I win, and the gold kind of grabs a hold of the leg and throws Jade around before smashing them into the stone pillar. With a wham, wham, and a wham. Repeatedly smashing, severing the leg, smashing Jade into a million pieces. It seemed like it was going well, but Foss seems ultimately successful here. Even now, it's like a Jedi fucking force choke or something, holding their victim up here. Only a torso now, by the neck. Like this, lamentation. Yeah, this sucks. I don't like this. Foss is the villain. Foss is the baddie. And of course, our king of hell, our god of wrath, Yama. This is all part of the plan. You people, you gems, are all sacrificial pawns in our game of getting Sensei to pray. It's all part of the plan. And Foss is a willing and able participant. We made them do it of their own volition. Oh no, okay, I thought that this was a you, like, scornful. But no, You needed someone to understand you, and I couldn't. I'm sorry. Again, this has been a common theme between the Yuke and the Jade kind of kills here, right? It's like making you, trying to appeal to you even at this time. Like apologizing, prostrating in front of Foss. Like, I'm sorry that I couldn't do better for you. I just want to talk with you. I just want to understand. And Foss, again, still reacting with violence. So again, this seems like Jade's final words. Maybe making Foss, relent a little bit? This is an interesting... It seems like a significant line. Before thudding to the ground, that head kind of falling off, cracking open. Huh. What are you talking about? What do you mean I needed someone to understand you? And what do you mean? Like, almost again, still... It's like the only light in the room being the eye, too. That's fucking metal. I like that. You still just needed somebody to understand you, and nobody could. Yeah, I wonder what that's about. Understand me? What is there to understand? What is there to understand now? It's too late. Huh. I don't think it's ever too late. It's never too late to change your ways, to be understood, to live in peace and harmony, and not as wrathful, and as, like, warfaring. I don't know, is Foss still redeemable after all this time? You would have to imagine yes. It's hard to say. Okay, in the darkness there is a circle of Mercury. This would be the well-foreshadowed Cinnabar encounter. Hello, Shinsha. And yeah, this is where we're going to go with this. This seems like this really climactic interaction between Cinnabar and Foss. Coming hot off the heels of two other kills against Yuke and Jade, where Foss is starting to be kind of softened up. Like, hey, we're still appealing to Foss's humanity, if you want to call it that. Of, hey, you can change your ways, I still believe in you, all this kind of stuff. I wonder where that goes to here now with Cinnabar. This will be the last chapter I will do. Chapter 92, Night. Now that's curious because if we go back here, the night made you panic. Now the night has the correlation with Cinnabar, of course, as well. So I'm imagining, yeah, okay. Going all the way back, this is also the Sensei birthday party, remember? So we did the birthday party. It was sunset. A lot of those fights are taking place at the sunset. As we continue the invasion, it moves into night. The night is when Cinnabar's kind of poison goes crazy too. That's kind of one of the vibes. And it's also the time where Cinnabar was by themselves a lot, right? It's the time that signifies most their isolation. And again, linking that all the way back to the initial motivations of, whatever this change, whatever this journey was. Even again, thinking all the way back to the first episode, it kind of has this sunset encounter with Cinnabar and Foss, right? It's kind of this sunset. Cinnabar saves Foss from getting taken by the Lunarians, and then there's this, saving them over the edge of the cliff type idea to it. I feel like that's very early in the story. So again, reflecting that now with the move from the sun into the night is very smart. Again, it feels very climactic. I just wanted to get that across. Now, I was going to say, I thought that this here looked a little bit like, that little splooge that was the humanity in the pool up on the moon? I was like, that kind of looks like that. And as we see here, that little splooge turns into Foss. Or at least one iteration of Foss, the earliest iteration, I would say. Again, perfect control over the mercury poison has Cinnabar, and Foss is again shocked. Almost this leaf dissipating. Has that been happening? Yeah. Interesting, because that thing has, signified, the Bodhi leaf or whatnot. Yeah, kind of got disintegrated through the fight with Jade. So there was an actual tactile change there. That's very interesting. It almost feels like this Foss persona is melting away a little bit. The combined efforts of everybody is muting or lessening this kind of aspect of Foss. And then a splurch. So we had the little the little Foss, and Foss gets kind of crushed here in Cinnabar's hand. They're only using you so they can get rid of me. I know. I still want to do it regardless. That's interesting. You don't have any real friends. Then maybe so. You're awkward and pathetic. Foss, How dare you? So this is the culmination for Cinnabar, right? So through Foss's actions, Cinnabar eventually, as I've said, has found a place where they belong and has been included, something only they can do, which is take down Foss. Yeah, something there. And this is the culmination where we're finally reflecting that back at Foss, where you're going to say, hey, victory, like mission accomplished, right? You finally did the thing for me, even if you lost sight of that, you still did so, and you found something only I could do. And again, the grand irony there being that it was defeating me. You know? I feel like that's kind of where we're going, or at least trying to go. You're awkward and pathetic. I know. And again, owning this stuff that you used to be so nervous and scared about, like coming out in the light, standing up against somebody, not shying away, not being hidden in this cave anymore. I'm in the temple. I'm fighting you. I'm proud of who I am. I'm accepting my own shortcomings. This feels really triumphant for Cinnabar. The gold now reaching out of the hand here, and a huge two-page spread ensues. This is pretty special. This is a pretty special looking panel, guys. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, this is the clash of the gold and the clash of the mercury. And it's really hard to tell who's winning. It almost feels like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It feels like they're bending the elements here and now. It's almost giving Agni Kai, if you know, you know. So I would imagine the wave-like structure is a little bit more of the mercury, taking on a little bit more of the liquid type physics, where we have the gold rushing through it, spiking at different edges, and again, probably breaking through this at this time. But again, a little bit of the mercury seeping this side too. It's a true 50-50 as it stands right now. I love this panel. Love it, love it, love it. The use of the darkness and the light reflecting off of both of their respective powers, the night type motif to it all as well. Just fantastic stuff. Really, really, really damn good. So yeah, I kind of predicted that a lot of this session would be the fighting, and then we had that chunk in the middle where Sensei said basically all the exposition. Or not Sensei, Acmea said all the exposition, which kind of took a bulk of it. Now it's just a lot of fighting, and it's me breaking down the fights. So like, again, the gold breaking through here, but it's still kind of tinged in the mercury. The splashing happening over this side. Determination. Overwhelmed, seems Foss here. And yeah, that was the case. Foss overwhelmed, covered in the mercury here and now, the poison, and yeah, squashing him like a pancake. But it seems that something is swooing back up and surprising Cinnabar here at this time too. It seems like it wasn't that successful. This was only a momentary victory. A soft rock like you. I love a bit of soft rock. Play a bit of soft rock. with a crick, crick, crick. I can break you with a touch of my finger. You know I'm right. There's no gem with a hardness lower than 2. Was there? What was Antark's hardness? Anyway, weird. Or no gem left, maybe. And yeah, this is coming to fruition. A bit of the gold breaking through and breaking parts of Cinnabar off. The tides are turning in this battle. There's a really metal look at Foss too. Like, pardon the pun. with like this, like, I don't know. It's like it looks like a disease almost. Is kind of the crystallization of the gold. Or like a thorny bush. Like a rose bush that is withered or something as well. It's probably another take. Very evocative. Like Foss has become just an eye. And this eye of the Lunarians as well. This pearl eye, right? And again, yeah, literally violently attacking my friend. My one friend. Or he was my one friend. Or I was his one friend. Yeah, that's what I meant. The person that spurred this thing off to begin with. However, Cinnabar here with the rebuttal, with the different iterations of himself in the kind of mercury power there. Foss shell-shocked at the revelation, at the visage that he is now seeing. Yeah, I love this. I love this look, because you could still get the shock across very well with such a kind of abstract design of a character. Like, I'm shocked that this is happening. Getting that across with just the eyeball is very impressive. Also, like how we can just still kind of see the semblance of the structure of the skull. Yeah, very cool. So again, the Mercury power continues to overwhelm. I believe we've seen these human figures in it once before, potentially even in that scene that I was talking about before, kind of the first few chapters. If only I could go and check. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Little, like, human soldier dudes fighting out of the Mercury and overwhelming the Lustrous. Yeah, all the way back to chapter 2, buddy. Did you potentially forget that as well, Foss? That's a fun angle as well. Again, I'm seeing, like, all of the times that I met up with Cinnabar, the old me, those old encounters being reflected at me even now and taking me down. Like, the emotions of that initial encounter and my relationship with this person being visually represented to be taking me down also. Very cool. Even now, continuing this visual metaphor with all of these different kind of Cinnabars grabbing at him, tearing him apart. Like, again, it almost feels like he's tearing himself apart here at this time too, where again I'm being reminded, almost this deja vu type feeling of that old encounter, of that kind of that proclamation that I made to Cinnabar all that time ago. It feels like Foss is finally meeting his maker. However, I am noting that I'm at chapter 92 and that there's 108 chapters, so there's probably more to go here. With a swoosh, we have Foss decapitating all of the Mercury Cinnabars, and then, yeah, the actual proper Cinnabar here coming through with this... It's almost like a stand, no? With this, like, stand power, as Foss is continuously trying to regenerate this kind of hex-like pattern of the gold, protecting him. Surprise again, onely determined is Cinnabar. And yeah, a big old punch in the face, and a shattering of Foss's head, and the body going every which way. And a big kind of, like, spiral in the Mercury here, too, is just awesome. Yeah, this is a really, really, really cool fight. Really cool. So, yeah. I mean, that's you landing in the background, right? That's you being cut apart. That's your arm still, like, kind of going out here at this time. Yeah, it's a desperate struggle between the two of them. They're both still, like, on their last legs, fighting it out. This big, like, spiky, like, cactus type thing being generated from both of their powers. Again, it seems like it's giving... This is a shit example too. It's giving like Harry Potter, you know, when they clash wands. It's giving me that as well, but like cool and not lame like Harry Potter. But it seems like both of the powers here are combining into some kind of explosion, which may take out the both of them, and we're left with a big old pile of goo, a big old pile of like a miasma, where they're all kind of just melting. Kind of reminds me of the crater on the moon, no, where everybody was just kind of fighting it out. Like, it's like humanity being reflected even now, you know? Two people fighting, getting dissolved together in a pool of sorts. That could be ultimately where we go. There could be a fusion here, no? That could be fun. Like Foss and Cinnabar together. I don't know. That could be cool. And yeah, we'll leave it there for today. I'm looking at maybe 2 more sessions. We'll see. Maybe try to get to chapter 100 next week. And then after that, could just go through from 101 to 108. I believe it's 108. We'll have to see. But yeah, we'll call it there for today. That was cool. Again, I thought it was going to be a lot of fighting. It was, but it was also equal parts kind of exposition, explanation, and whatnot. My voice is sore, so I'm going to go and edit this now, I guess. But that was really fun. It was really, really good. So 2 thumbs up again. Manga's good. Manga's great, even. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next week for more. Yeah, stopping points again. I know it's hard here at this climactic time. I wonder where Acme is as well. That's probably another question too. Yeah. Patreon if you want to see 1 week ahead. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for watching. Ciao. Bye-bye. See you later.